The morning sun had barely touched the ground when chaos broke loose. One moment, my family was laughing on our quiet California street. The next, an angry bull tore through the gate. Its hooves thundered, its eyes locked on us, and I knew we had seconds before it reached my little boy. I froze. My voice stuck in my throat. But Ziya didn't. My Belgian Malinois lunged forward. And what he did next still leaves me shaking when I tell this story. My name is Daniel Reed. I live in a quiet neighborhood in Fresno, California, with my wife, Emily, and our 6-year-old son, Jacob. That morning was supposed to be ordinary. A weekend breakfast, a walk outside, nothing more. But ordinary vanished in the blink of an eye. Our dog, Ziya, a strong Belgian Malinois with alert amber eyes, was trotting happily at Jacob's side. None of us knew that within minutes, he would become more than just our pet. He would become our shield. It started with a rumble, like distant thunder. I frowned, looking up, but the sky was clear. Then I saw it, a massive black bull charging down the street, foam spraying from its mouth, eyes wild with fury. Neighbors screamed and scrambled, doors slamming shut. But we were right there, in the bull's path. The bull had escaped from a nearby ranch, they would tell us later. In that moment, all I saw was muscle rage, and horns ready to crush anything in their way. Jacob stood frozen, clutching his toy truck, unable to move. Emily screamed his name, but her legs wouldn't obey. I took one step forward. Too slow, far too slow. Ziya didn't hesitate. With a snarl that split the silence, he sprinted past me, his paws pounding the pavement. His body coiled with power, ears flat, eyes blazing with one purpose: protect. The bull lowered its head, charging straight at Jacob. And Ziya launched himself like a missile. The sound when they met was like a car crash. Ziya slammed against the bull's muzzle, snapping and biting with terrifying precision. The bull roared, swiping its horns dangerously close to his body. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would burst. Jacob was still inches away from death, but Ziya had stopped the charge. The bull thrashed, its hooves tearing the asphalt. Ziya dodged, circled, lunged, his teeth catching flesh, his growl vibrating through the air. Every strike could have killed him, but he refused to back down. Blood trickled from a gash on his shoulder, but he stood firm. For every pound of fury in the bull, there was an ounce of loyalty in my dog. Jacob sobbed, his little arms shaking as Emily pulled him back toward the porch. I ran to shield them, but my eyes couldn't leave the fight. It was a nightmare unfolding in broad daylight. Neighbors peeked from windows, too stunned to move. We were all watching a war between beast and protector. The bull's horn clipped Ziya's flank, and he yelped, stumbling. My heart dropped. I thought it was over. But then, in an instant, he surged up again, teeth bared, charging with more fury than before. He went for the bull's neck, biting down hard. The bull staggered, confused, its rage meeting resistance it hadn't expected. Time slowed. Every snap of Ziya's jaw, every thunderous step of the bull, burned into my memory. The air was filled with dust, growls, and Jacob's terrified cries. I shouted Ziya's name, my voice hoarse. He didn't even glance back. He was locked in battle. At last, the bull faltered. Ziya's relentless strikes forced it backward, step by step, until its head swung away from Jacob. The bull bellowed, stamping the ground in frustration, its body trembling with exhaustion. Ziya stood, chest heaving, blood staining his fur but fire still in his eyes. He had shifted the fight, and he wasn't letting go. Sirens blared in the distance. Animal control trucks screeched into the street, men jumping out with ropes and tranquilizer rifles. The bull charged again, but Ziya intercepted, buying them seconds they desperately needed. One dart, then another, sank into the bull's thick hide. It staggered, slowed, and finally crashed to the ground. Silence. The street was a battlefield, dust hanging in the air, neighbors weeping on their lawns. Ziya stood limping, his chest rising and falling like he had fought an army. Jacob clung to Emily, his tiny voice trembling. "Mama!" Ziya saved me. And that's when I broke. Tears I didn't know I had poured down my face. We rushed him to the emergency vet, blood soaking my shirt as I carried him in my arms. The staff worked frantically, stitching wounds, treating the deep gash in his side. Every beep of the monitor was torture. I whispered in his ear, "You're our hero, don't you dare leave us." Hours passed before the doctor finally said, "He's going to make it." 2 weeks later, Ziya limped back onto our porch, bandaged but alive. Neighbors gathered, clapping, cheering, some even crying. Jacob ran to him, wrapping his arms around his neck. Ziya licked his face, tail wagging slowly, his eyes calm but proud. He wasn't just a dog anymore. He was a legend. People still ask me, "How did you survive that day?" I tell them the truth. It wasn't me. It wasn't luck. It was a Belgian Malinois named Ziya who stood between death and my son. And every time I hear his paws on the floor, I remember. He gave us back our lives. Some heroes wear uniforms. Some carry weapons. Ours had fur, amber eyes, and a heart bigger than fear itself. If this story moved you, you're not alone. At Loyal Voice, we bring you real, emotional tales that deserve to be heard. Like, comment, and subscribe. And never miss the next miracle.